imprinting the spine. We've got a gap between the small of our back and the mat. Our tailbone's nice and heavy and our shoulders are nice and wide. Inhale through the nose for a count of 3. Expanding the ribcage out wide to the side. And then exhale, release everything. And again, inhaling here. Exhaling to release everything. Inhale again. Expanding that ribcage out wide to the side. And as you start to exhale, let's peel the tailbone off. So we're imprinting our spine, drawing our belly button away from our t-shirt, lifting up from the hips, opening up through the hip flexors, and then draw your belly button to your spine. Start to roll yourself down one vertebrae at a time. Release the tailbone at the end. Inhaling here. Exhaling, start to peel the tailbone off. Pressing evenly through both heels, lifting up the hips, and then rolling yourself down one vertebrae at a time. Think about keeping your pelvis nice and steady. And then again, start to peel off the tailbone. So it's a nice fluid motion through the back. And think about your spine as a Mexican wave as it starts to come back along the mat here. And then as we peel it off, it's a Mexican wave in the other direction, lifting up nice and high. And then again, rolling down. Good, we've got our last one here. Start to peel yourself off, pressing evenly through both heels, lifting up through the hips. Can you float your right leg into tabletop and then lower it down? Float the left leg into tabletop and then lower it down. So what we're aiming for here is to not let our pelvis shift or rock from side to side or even drop down. So we really want to engage through the backs of the legs here. Floating the leg up and then down. Float the left leg up and then down. One more on either side. Right leg's coming to tabletop. Lowering it down. And our left leg. Tabletop, lowering it down. Then we're going to roll ourselves down one vertebrae at a time. Peel yourself back up again. And hold the hips here as you float your right leg into tabletop. Really press the left foot into the ground. From here, we're inhaling, coming down halfway. Exhale, squeeze through the left glute. If this is too challenging, keep both feet on the floor. Inhaling and exhaling here. Just 3 more. Pelvis is nice and steady. We've got 2. And our last one here. Place your right foot onto the ground. Float the left leg into tabletop. Coming down halfway now. Exhale, squeeze through the right glute. Inhaling and exhaling. We've got 4 more like this. We've got our last 3, holding steady through the belly. 2 more here. And our last one here. Place the left foot onto the ground. We've got 6 little pulses coming down halfway. Exhale, squeeze through the glutes. We've got 5 more here. Both feet are flat. 4 more. Exhale, squeezing through the glutes. Our last 3. Belly button to spine for 2. Exhale, draw up. Last one here. Roll yourself down one vertebrae at a time. Hug your knees into your chest and give yourself a little rock from side to side. So you should start to feel the glutes are connecting here. Place the feet onto the floor. And we've still got that neutral spine here. We're coming into our dead bug. So you're going to float your right leg into tabletop. Inhale, lower it down. Float the left leg into tabletop. Inhale to lower it down. So again, we're not allowing that pelvis to move from side to side. We're holding nice and steady. You can place your hands onto the hips if that works. Exhale, floating it up. Inhale to lower down. So we're connecting through the lower abdominals here. Exhaling. There's no pelvic shifting. Nice and steady. The only thing that's moving are our bottom legs. We've got 4 to go. Our last 3. 2 more here. Exhale, float it up. And we've got our last one here. From here, we're going to float both legs into tabletop. And we're going to arc away one leg. So inhale, arc one leg away. Exhale, draw it back through center. So this is adding on to it, making it that little bit more challenging. If it's too challenging on the abdominals, keep the legs down and do what we were doing before. Inhaling, arc the legs away. Exhale, scoop up. Shoulders are down. We've got that neutral spine. Inhaling here, exhaling, drawing back through center, using your breath and scooping up through the lower abdominals. Last 4 here. We've got 3 to go. Little toe taps, light touch of the foot for 2. And 1 more here. If you would like to add on a further challenge, you can either continue with the dead bugs or the toe taps. Otherwise, we're going to send both legs away from us and then exhale, scoop back. So we're aiming to keep the pelvis nice and steady. We're not rocking it back and forth. We're not imprinting the spine. We've still got that neutral spine. Toes are tapping down and then drawing back up. We shouldn't feel this through the lumbar spine at all. If you do want to arc your legs away and you can't quite make it to the floor, just send them away as far as you can without touching the ground and without letting that pelvis shift. So inhaling and then exhaling here. Let's do 3 more, holding steady through the core. We've got our last 2, exhaling, scooping up, and 1 more like this. Lower your right leg, lower the left leg. Have a little breather here. Alright, keep the feet hip width apart, interlace the fingers together, reach behind the neck and support the neck here. We don't want to pull on the neck, we don't want to strain it. So elbows are out wide and we've got that neutral spine. From here, just going to exhale, scoop up, so draw your belly button away from your t-shirt. You're just peeling the tips of the shoulder blades off the mat and then inhale to lower down. Exhaling, scooping up. Make sure we're not pulling on the back of the neck. It's a light touch. Exhaling and then inhaling to lower down. Exhaling, scooping up that little bit higher. Drawing up. Inhale to lower down. Can we do 4 more like this before we add on to it? We've got our last 3. 2 more here. And 1 to go. Good. On this next one, if you want to add the challenge, scoop up here. Reach the arms out long behind the thighs. Pull up a little bit higher. Hold this position. Reach the hands behind the head. And then lower yourself down. So we're drawing ourselves off, reaching the arms long, pulling up a little bit higher, place the hands behind the head, and then lower ourselves down. Exhaling, drawing up, reach the arms long, pull up that little bit higher, hands behind the head, lower ourselves down. So we should really start to feel this through the abdominals. And as you scoop up, think about drawing your rib cage down towards your hip bone. So it's almost gliding along there. Hands behind head, lower yourselves down. Let's do 2 more like this. Scooping up that little bit higher. Whew. And our last one here. Drawing up, lowering yourselves down. Good. If you would like to add on the challenge, the last little bit in this position, we're floating the legs into tabletop here. We're doing the same thing, but the legs are high. If it's too much, just keep the legs down. Exhale, peel the shoulder blades off. Reach the arms out long behind you, pull up a little bit higher, hold this position, hands behind the head, lower yourself down. And again, scooping up, reach the arms out long, peeling yourself off, hands behind head, lower yourself down. Can we do 4 more like this? Scooping up here, hands behind head, lowering yourselves down. Our last 3 here, we've got it. Really feeling this through the upper abdominals. 2 more here, pulling up that little bit higher, and 1 more like this. Scooping up, lowering ourselves down now, 1 leg at a time. Place the hands on either side, and we can drop the knees over. Keep both shoulder blades attached. We're just dropping the legs over, draw back through center, and then over to the other side, draw back through center, and again. Getting that release through the back and the lower abdominals. 1 more over to this side and draw back through center. Alright, to work our obliques, float the legs back into tabletop. I'm going to inhale, float the legs over to your right hand side. You can let the left hip peel off. We just don't want the left shoulder blade peeling off. And then exhale, draw back. Inhale, float them over to the left, keeping the right shoulder blade attached. Exhaling, drawing back through center. And again, inhale over to the right. Exhale, using your obliques, draw your legs back through center. Over to the left. Exhaling, drawing back through center. We're really working on tightening the corset and the waist. Inhaling, exhaling, good. On this next one, adding in a little leg extension if you wish. Reaching the legs long, bend the knees, draw back through center. Let the legs drift over to the left. Reach the legs long, bend, draw back through center here. Holding steady through the belly. Reaching those legs long, bending the knees, exhaling, inhaling here. Legs long, bend, draw back through center. Continue with that one if you would like to keep that same challenge. So it's just drifting it over, reaching the legs long, bending and drawing back. If you would like to add on the challenge, hold it here, reach the legs long, keep them long, draw them through center, bend the knees now. Inhale over, reach the legs long, exhale, draw back through center, bend the knees. And again, over, reach the legs long, draw through center, bending the knees, inhaling, exhaling. Inhale to bend. One more on either side here, holding steady through the belly. We shouldn't be feeling this in our lumbar spine, all through obliques. Exhaling, drawing back, bending at the knees, lowering the legs down. Let's hug the knees into our chest and give yourself a little rock from side to side. We really work the abdominals here. So that's the idea of the strength sequence, because it allows you to figure out where you sit on it. If it's too challenging just to do the chest lift, then we hold it at the chest lift position, or we can add on to it, layering and layering. So peeling yourself off from the floor now, we're going to come into that 4-point kneeling position. So this one we're going to test how we go with our planks. So tuck your toes in underneath, and we want our shoulders in line with the wrist here, and our knees are in line with our hips. From here, we've got a long line from the crown of our head to our tailbone. I want you to press away from the floor and just hover the knees off just 5 centimeters or so. And we're holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees down. And again, exhaling, pressing away from the floor, lifting up the knees, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees down. Good, we've got 2 more sets like that. Exhaling, pressing away, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering the knees. Last set here, keep pressing away, lifting up the knees, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering the knees. If you need to, you can roll out your wrists in one direction and then over to the other direction. So we want to hold steady throughout the abdominals. So on this next one, we're adding in a little bit of a challenge. So this is the intermediate section here. So like we did before, our shoulders are in line with our wrists, our knees are in line with our hips. We're going to hover the legs off, but while you're here, you're going to walk out the legs behind you. 1, 2, draw the knees back in underneath, lower down. So we're just prepping for that plank position. And again, pressing away from the floor. Reach the legs out long, draw them in underneath, lower yourself down. And again, lifting those knees off. Reach the legs out long, bending the knees, lower down. We've got 2 more. Hover knees off, reach the legs out long, bottoms down, bend the knees, lower the knees. Last one here, reaching those legs out, bending the knees and lowering down. Good, if you need to, roll out the wrist again, because on the last set, we've got our plank. So we're going to hold the plank for 30 seconds, roll the wrist out in the other direction here. All right, when you're ready, coming back onto the hands. If it's too challenging on the wrists, come onto a fist position or come down onto the forearms, whichever feels more comfortable. All right, with the hands, feel like you've got suction cups on them. So it's almost like you're peeling the palm off, but you're gripping with your fingertips. From here, walk the legs out long. And we're going to hold this plank just for 30 seconds. Keep pulling apart from the floor, lifting up. One long line from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Arms along and feel like you're pulling apart that mat. Belly's in. We're halfway there. Using your breath now. Shoulders are wide. And down. 10 more seconds here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees down. Come back into a child's pose position. So reach those arms out long in front. And inhale into the rib cage. Expand the rib cage out wide, and then exhale and release everything. And again, inhaling here. And then exhaling to release everything. One more time, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling to release. Walk your hand to the left-hand side, place your right hand on top, and really reach into that right-hand side. Breathe into that right rib cage. And then exhaling to release. And again, inhaling here. Exhaling. Walk your hands over to the right, place your left hand on top. Breathe into that left rib cage. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale to release. And again, inhaling through the nose, getting that stretch. And release. Good. From here, coming back into that 4-point kneeling position, we're just working into our push-ups. So you can either keep the hands here, and it's almost like you're in that 4-point kneeling position. If you want to keep this position, you're just going to bend at the elbows, send the elbows out wide, and then exhale, press up. So this is the beginner position, and feel like you're engaging into your lats. So you're pulling your arms down out of your armpits, and you're bringing your chest nice and close to the ground. Exhaling, pressing away. Inhale to bend. Exhale, pressing away. Your belly button's in. There's one long line from the crown of your head to the tailbone. Let's do 3 more like this. Exhale, pressing away. We've got our last 2. And our last one here. Good. From here, if you want to add on to the challenge, walk the hands out a little further, and you're going to send the hips forward. And from here, we've got the same deal. We're bending at the elbows out wide to the side. Exhale, pressing away from the floor. Inhaling, and then exhaling here. You can bring the legs up if it feels more comfortable. Focusing on the arms here. Let's do 3 more. We've got our last 2, focusing on form, and 1 more like this. Walk those hands back in underneath. Sit back onto your heels, just roll out the wrist, because we've done a little bit of wrist work here. In one direction, and then over in the other direction. Nice. We're going to come back lastly into that 4-point kneeling position. And we're coming into our quadruped here. So a little bit of weight bearing continues. And from here, we've done this one before. We're floating our left arm in front as our right leg goes back. Floating it up in line with the body. And then lowering it down, drawing it back underneath. And then again, swapping over to the other side. Right arm, left leg floats off. Creating a long line from the crown of the head, or from the tips of the fingertips, to the toes, the end of the toes. And again, swapping, just making it a fluid motion within the body. Left arm, right leg's floating up and then lowering down. And again, right arm, left leg, lowering it down. Float the left arm and right leg up. Can you open out to the side and then exhale, drop back behind you. Inhaling and exhaling here. Just 3 more. Feeling this in the belly for 2. 1 more here. Lower the arm, lower the leg. Swapping over to the other side. Reaching long with the right arm, left leg. Opening out to the side. Exhale, draw behind. We've got 4 more like this. Our last 3. 2 to go. 1 more here. Lowering the arm, lowering the leg. Nice work. Coming onto your side now. So we've done a lot of work in the sagittal plane, so that's in the frontal plane. Now we've got to work the coronal plane. So coming down onto your elbows, we're going to bring our knees together. Our ankles are together as well. We want our elbow in line with our shoulder. And from here, we're just pressing away from the floor. You can place your left hand onto your hip, press away from the floor, lifting up the hips, holding it here just for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower it down. So you should feel like you're connecting all through the under part of the body. All right, exhaling again, pressing away, lifting up the hips, holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lowering it back down. You can either keep it like this, or if you would like, you're going to reach the legs out long. So your left leg coming out in front, right leg's behind. And we've got the same deal. We're pressing away from the floor, lifting up the hips, holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Have a little breather here. And then again, pressing away from the floor, lifting up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering it down. Good work. Can we spin over to the other side now? So we're just strengthening all through the side of the body, which is really important. Bending those knees, ankles are together, elbows in line with the shoulder, right hands on the hip. Exhale, press away from the floor, holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering it down. And again, exhale, pressing away, lifting up the hips, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering all the way down. If you want, lengthen out through the legs, so the top leg's in front, bottom leg's behind. And then again, exhale, pressing away, lifting up, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lowering yourself down. Have a little breather before we've got our last set of 10 here. Exhaling, pressing away, lifting up, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower yourself down and then rolling onto your belly here. Working through the upper body now, which is really important, well, the back I should say. You're going to reach the arms out long beside you, legs along as well, and feel like you're pressing your pubic bone into the mat. From here, you've got a marble at the end of your nose, I should say, so you're lifting off the forehead, just the nose is touching. Can you roll your humeral head back? So roll the shoulders back, start to lift up the hands, and as you reach the hands back towards your toes, lift up through the upper body, hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower yourself down, nose is touching, roll the shoulders forward. And again, roll the shoulders back, lifting up the hands, reach towards your toes, lifting that head off, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower yourself down. Good, and then again, rolling those shoulders back, lifting up the hands, roll that marble forward, holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lowering yourself down. Nice work. Draw those hands on either side of your shoulders. So we've got a nice right angle here. Elbows in line with the shoulders and the wrists are in line with the elbows. Legs are still long, slight press into the pubic bone. And from here we're coming into our scarecrow. So we're going to lift off the wrist first. Our nose is still touching, followed by the elbows, followed by the upper body. Lower the upper body down, lower the elbows, lower the wrists. So it's a bit of a movement here. So it's elbows first, wrists first, elbows, upper body, lower the elbows, lower the wrists. And then again, wrists off, elbows off, reaching up, inhaling. And then exhale, lower the body, lower the elbows, lower the wrists. On this next one, to progress it, you're lifting off the wrist first, elbows, upper body. Keep yourself up here, reach the arms long, Bend the arms, lower the upper body, lower the elbows, lower the wrists. So we've got wrists, elbows, body, reach the arms long, bend the arms, body, elbow, wrists. And again, one more here. Wrists, elbows, body, reach the arms long, bend the arms, body, elbows, wrists. Nice work, there's a lot to that one. Wiggle the hands back so they're in line with your shoulders. We're coming into our swan position here. So rolling that marble forward. With your nose, you're going to press evenly through both hands. Start to extend the elbows, lifting off the hips. Shoulders are down, chest is wide. Bend through the elbows, draw the hips down to the mat. Lower yourself down all the way. And the last thing to touch is the nose. Then again, the first thing to leave is rolling that marble up with your nose. Press evenly through both hands, extending the elbows long, bending through the elbows, drawing yourself down all the way, and place the nose back onto the mat. We've got our last one here. Rolling that marble forward, lifting off, pressing evenly through both hands, bending through the elbows, lowering yourself down. The last thing to touch is the nose. All right, from here, rolling onto your back now. So, can you float your arms out long behind you, legs long as well? Inhale to prepare, we've got that neutral spine. Exhale, start to move the arms so the wrists come in line with the shoulders. As they come in line with the shoulders, you're going to start to peel yourself off the mat. Keep that scoop throughout the abdominals, reach the arms out long. Then can you re-stack up nice and tall, and then slowly roll off your sit bones, draw your belly button to your spine, controlling that descent, and reach the arms over long. And then again, exhaling, floating those arms in line with the shoulders. Feel like someone's pulling you up by your fingertips, rounding the back, reaching the arms out long, re-stacking up nice and tall, rolling off the sit bones here. And floating those arms back behind you. And again, reaching those arms up towards the ceiling, drawing your belly button to your spine, reaching over, re-stacking up nice and tall, and then lowering yourself off of those sit bones, reaching the arms out long. We can circle them down by our hips, and just make sure you have enough room to float the legs over your head here. So you may need to wriggle down, or I know I do. Keep those legs reaching long. If this is too challenging, just continue with the roll-ups. Otherwise, you're going to float the legs up in line with you. So we're in this position. Arms are out at 45 degrees. From here, you're going to exhale, float the legs behind you, separate the feet here, and you're going to roll yourself down one vertebrae at a time. When your tailbone touches the mat, you're going to circle the legs down and around, join the feet together again. Exhale, scoop up using the lower abdominals, keep the feet together. Now separate them, roll yourself down one vertebrae at a time. When your tailbone touches, circle the feet down and around and join together again, lifting up and over. On this next one, you can flex the feet here for a neural stretch. Separate the feet, lower yourself down one vertebrae at a time, point the toes, circle down and around. We've got our last one here. Feet together, flex the feet, separate the feet now, roll yourself down, one vertebrae at a time, point the toes, circle down and around, and then just draw the knees into your chest. And so that's a little bit of a challenge. That challenge is like a full body motion now. All right, rolling over to your left-hand side here. We've just got some inner thighs to finish with. So you're going to support yourself with your hand. Your right leg is in front, left leg is long, and you can place your right hand in front of the breastbone, so you're just supporting yourself. Reach the left leg long, you're just going to float it off the floor, and then inhale to lower down. Exhale, floating it up, inhale to lower down. So we're really connecting deep into the lower abdominals here, drawing the left leg up, inhale to lower it down. If you want more of a connection, you can flex the left foot. Exhale, draw it up. Inhale to lower down, using your breath here. And it's almost like you're reaching that heel out long. Exhaling and then inhaling. Just 5 more like this. We've got our last 4, 3 to go, 2, the last one here. Keep that left leg off. Can you circle it in one direction just for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse those circles in the other direction for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bend that knee. Allow yourself to relax fully down. You've got that bent left arm here. Hips are stacked, knees are together. Right arm's reaching forward. Inhaling here. And then exhaling. Can you open up towards the ceiling, coming into your book openings, getting that release through the back, and then drawing back through center here. And then again, reaching that arm up, trying to get that right shoulder blade onto the mat. Keep looking towards your right fingertips. We've got our last one here. Reaching those fingertips out long, placing the right shoulder blade onto the mat, and then drawing back through center. Let's sweep that hand overhead now, so you're going to get that nice pec release. Just make it a fluid motion here, keeping those hips stacked. Reaching up and over, stretching out. And we've got our last one here. Up and over. Good. As your hand comes back to its starting position, you're going to press away from the floor and swapping over to the other side. So we're going to support ourselves, support our head with our right hand. That left leg's coming in front. Hips are stacked. And you're going to lift and lower that bottom leg. So you can either keep it flexed at the start, or you can have it pointed, and then we can go into a flexed motion. Whichever feels comfortable. Just make sure that you're peeling that bottom leg off the mat and keeping the leg long here. Inhaling, exhaling, using your breath. Hips are stacked. Floating that leg up. Now let's start to flex the foot. You're going to feel it more intensely in the inner thigh here. Exhaling, drawing it up. Inhale to lower down. Good. Inhaling, exhaling here. We've just got 4 more lift and lowers. It's like you're reaching that right heel long towards the opposite wall. 3 to go. 2. Last one, keep that leg floating off. Tiny little circles just for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse those circles in the other direction for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bend the knees here. Let that right elbow support yourself. Left hand's in front. Inhale to prepare. Exhale. Bring those fingertips up towards the ceiling like you're brushing them along the ceiling with a paintbrush. Bring that left shoulder blade to the mat and then draw back through center. And then again, keeping the hips stacked, reaching that left arm up, and placing the left shoulder blade on the mat, drawing back through center. We've got 1 more like this before we start to sweep that hand overhead. Looking towards the fingertips, you might feel tighter on one side than the other. And then when you're ready, sweeping that left hand overhead, getting that release through the pec. Sweep it by the hips and then again up and over the head. Keep the hips tracking forward. Good, and we've got our last one like this. Here, it's nice to stretch it out and drawing back through center. Lying onto your back. And we're going to give ourselves a nice glute stretch here. Bring your right leg over the left. Open up through that right leg. And you can reach behind the left thigh. And just get a deeper stretch again here. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale to release. Inhaling. And then exhaling. 1 more breath here. Inhaling and exhaling. Place your left foot onto the ground. Bring your right foot back to the ground. Left foot's coming over, swapping over to the other side, getting that stretch and release throughout the hip. Float that right leg up, grabbing behind the thigh. And just breathing through any pain or any stretch. Of course, if it's not too painful, don't breathe through it. Exhaling. Inhale. And then exhaling here. Place place your right foot onto the ground, release the left leg. Just draw both legs into your chest and rock from side to side to start with. And then, if you can, draw little circles on the small of your back in one direction. Tiny little circles, and then reverse those circles in the other direction. Just get that release through the small of the back and the lower back. Come back through center and just take 3 rocks to come up into a seated position. Send your legs up, and we're all finished for today.